June 12, 2025. A routine flight from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick turned into India's worst aviation tragedy in 4 decades. Air India Flight AI-171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, crashed just seconds after takeoff, claiming 260 lives, 241 on board and 19 on the ground. Exactly 1 month later, the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, AAIB, has released its preliminary findings. The big takeaways. Fuel switches for both the engines were turned off seconds after the takeoff. This starved the engines of fuel, resulting in big drop in thrust. Both pilots were left wondering who switched the fuel supply off. The fuel switches were engaged 10 seconds later. The emergency systems of the Boeing 787 aircraft kicked in with the deployment of the Ram Air Turbine, RAT, and also the auxiliary power unit. Importantly, the report highlights a special airworthiness information bulletin released by the US Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, on the 17th December 2018. The bulletin had warned about potential disengagement of the fuel control switch locking feature. The report was based on reports from operators of Model 737 airplanes that the fuel control switches were installed with the locking feature disengaged. The airworthiness concern was not considered an unsafe condition that would warrant airworthiness directive. The AAIB report says that switch design, including the locking feature, is similar on various Boeing airplane models, including the Boeing 787. As per the information from Air India, the suggested inspections were not carried out as the FAA bulletin was an advisory and not mandatory. The 15-page report offers a chilling glimpse into what happened in those final seconds. Flight Air India 171 was cleared for takeoff 33 seconds past 1:37 p.m. It began rolling 4 seconds later and took off at precisely 39 seconds past 1:38 p.m. Just 3 seconds later, the aircraft reached its maximum speed of 180 knots, or around 333 kilometers per hour. This is when the Engine 1 and Engine 2 fuel cutoffs were switched off, starving both the engines of fuel, forcing them to start shutting down. 5 seconds later, the Ram Air Turbine was deployed and began supplying hydraulic power. According to the report, in the next 9 seconds, the Engine 1 fuel switch was engaged again, followed by the auxiliary power unit inlet door opening and then by the second engine's fuel switch being re-engaged. At 5 seconds past 1:39 p.m., the emergency Mayday transmission was sent. 6 seconds later, the so-called black box stopped recording when the aircraft struck the BJ Medical College Hostel complex, just 1,600 meters from the runway. The cockpit voice recorder captured a chilling exchange. One pilot asked, "Why did you cut off?" The other pilot replied, "I did not do it." Importantly, the report did not find any fault with aircraft airworthiness. Both engines had been recently installed, fuel samples were clean, there were no bird strikes, and there was no hazardous cargo. The report also made it clear that at this stage of investigation, there are no recommended actions to Boeing 787-8 aircraft and the GE GEnx 1B engine operators and manufacturers. Boeing expressed condolences and deferred to the AAIB. In a statement, it has said it defers to AAIB to provide information about the ill-fated flight in adherence with the United Nations International Civil Aviation Organization protocol. Air India said it acknowledged the report and reiterated its commitment to supporting the families and cooperating fully with the authorities. The AAIB has moved wreckage and engine components to secure facilities. The final report is expected within a year. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.